Hey guys, so in this video we're going to be looking at the liver lobules. Now, this is the lobule of the liver. This is the basic functioning unit of the liver. That means this particular structure can function on its own. So this is likened to the likes of the nephron of the kidney. All right, and there are about 50,000 to 100,000 of them embedded in the liver. So they perform a lot of functions. So let's go into the anatomy of the liver lobules now. Now we know that there are two veins that enter the liver, right? The hepatic portal vein and the hepatic artery. Now, when the hepatic artery and the hepatic portal vein enters the liver, the branch, you remember I have done a video on the structure, general structure of the liver. You can go and check that out. The branch and they end at the corners of the lobules. So this is just me picking out one lobule. There are about 50,000 of them in the entire liver. This is just me magnifying in one lobule. All right. Now, since we know that these vessels end at the corners of the lobules, so we're going to put that down. This represents the hepatic vein. Then this represents the hepatic artery, hepatic vein. And the arteries. All right. Now, having said that, let's go into what happens in the liver lobules. This artery and the vein and the artery, they drain into this space. Now, this space is called sinusoid. The sinusoid space. These two vessels drain into this space. Now, in this space, there is mixture of blood. So the blood mix. Remember, this vessel is high in oxygen, while this vessel is high in nutrients. Okay, so when the blood gets into the sinusoid space, it mix. Now, it's important to know that lining the sinusoid space are epithelial cells. We have epithelial cells that line the sinusoid space. And just like the capillaries, these cells have pores. They have openings that can allow substance to freely pass in and out of them. So you have pores that allow passage of substances. Okay, so substances can diffuse from the sinusoid space into this space. Now, the space between the epithelial cells and the hepatocyte. Now, these structures in red is called the hepatocytes. Those are the liver cells. They perform most of the function in the lobules. All right. So substances drain from the sinusoid space into the space between the epithelial cell and the hepatocyte. So this space is referred to as the space of DC. Space of DC. Okay. Now, substances diffuse or move into the space of DC. These substances are taken up by the hepatocytes. All right. So one of the major functions of the hepatocyte is that it it takes in substances and it gives out substances. Right. For example, it gives out protein like the albumin, which later goes back. So what happens here is that there is a multi-directional movement here. You have the substances moving into the space of DC and substances also that are released as a result of the, the activity of the hepatocytes. Substances are released into the DC space or the space of DC as well. Substances are released here. These substances also goes back into the sinusoid space, and finally it is emptied into the central duct here, the central vessel. Remember, every portion has these structures. Okay, so every of the activity that happens in every part empties into this space. Okay, it empties into this vessel that takes it to the hepatic portal vein that moves to the heart. All right. So what happens here is that most of the substances that moves do not move in opposite direction. Okay. So you have most of the substances that get back into the sinusoid space moving backwards. And where do they move backward into? They move and empty into a vessel. And that is what we call the lymphatic vessels. But that is not regarded as the triad. So what then is regarded as the triad? If you observe, there is a space between the hepatocytes. So this space between the hepatocytes, something really happens there. Something happens there. Now, what happens is that when the hepatocyte carry out its activity, it releases substances. Some of them will come this way, while some will go into this space. Now, when substances are emptied into this space, it is emptied into a vessel called the bile duct. The bile duct. Okay, so substances that move from hepatocyte back into their surrounding cells, the cells between them, the space rather, the space between them moves into a vessel, and that is known as the bile duct. So the bile duct, in addition with this is the bile duct, in addition with the hepatic artery and the hepatic portal vein, makes up the portal triad. The portal triad. So these three vessels are always together. That is why they are called triad. Okay, so you have the bile duct here. Let me do with another color. We have the bile duct here, the bile duct, the bile duct, the bile duct, the bile duct, the bile duct. Okay, so this is what we call the portal triad. The bile duct, the hepatic portal vein, and the hepatic artery. All these empties, right? All these finally empties to this collecting duct or this collecting vessel that moves to the hepatic portal vein that takes it directly to the inferior vena cava. Remember when I drew the structure of the liver, there is a vessel on top. That's called the inferior vena cava. That is what takes the blood to the heart. Okay, so this is the anatomy and physiology of the liver lobules. Okay, so thank you and see you in my next video.